Video we'll discuss how to add students to the app. Tap on the plus button at the bottom right and select Manage Students. This is the main area where you add students and build your classes. On the left here is the master list, and this will list all students in all your classes. You can tap on the search button here to narrow the search. So if I type in John, you'll just see John's name very easily. To the right is a class list, so you can see all the students that are in the master list are in class 1 there. I can go ahead and tap class 1 and select class 2. And if I want to add any students from the master list to class 2, simply tap an arrow and you'll move that student into the class. If you want to remove a student from a class, tap the More Options, which is the 3 button dots to the right of the name. And you can go ahead and say Remove from class. And you'll have a confirmation just to make sure the student will be removed from that class. Any data like assignments or attendance will also be removed, so make sure you do want to remove that student. To add new students, you can tap on the plus button. If you do use Google Classroom, select that and you'll be able to link to your Google Classroom and import students directly from there. There's a separate video on importing from a CSV file. If you can get your student names and information from your district, and have that in a CSV file, you can use that. You can also generate one yourself, so I do encourage you to look at that. And lastly, there's adding students manually. So if you tap on New Student, it'll open up the New Student area here. And just for example, I'll go ahead and type Amy Smith. There's a lot of other information here, like phone numbers, emails, addresses, parent or guardian name, phone number 1 and 2. So you can also add a photo. You can also import from your contact list over here at the top, or export from the contact list. So there's lots of ways for getting the information in. We'll put a gender as female. But once done, tap Save. You can see that Amy is added to the master list and also immediately added to class 2 as well. So if you're adding manually, it's best to switch to the class you want the student in and go ahead and add the student, and they'll be added there. And if you have to add Amy to any other classes, simply switch to a different class and use the arrow buttons there. You can see to edit a student's information, you can simply click on the More Options. You can copy them to another class, set them to inactive status if they're not in your class anymore, and also view their information again and edit any information. Lastly, on the top next to the class name are some options. You can go ahead and edit the class name. So let's say class 3 is really chemistry. You can do that, and in that way you have your names. You can also copy a class list. If you have the same classes multiple times, you can go ahead and copy a class list and add all the names to a different class. So that makes it easy. You can also remove all the students from a class and reset a class. All right, so there's quite a few options right there. The app supports up to 20 classes at the top, you can see. You can drag the slider to have 20, and if you have less than 20, reduce it. That way you won't have classes showing up that are not needed. And then lastly, on the master list side, if multiple teachers are using the app at your school, one teacher can add all the students here and go ahead and export the list, and then you can import it into a different device if you need it. All right, those are the main ways to get started with the app.